We keep using the term applying to UCAS, but what does it actually mean? Do you even know what the actual form looks like? Keep watching to learn more. Hi and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Wesley and I'm a recent secondary school graduate and Cambridge Medic offer holder. So this is the fourth video of the UCAS 101 series, and I thought the series wouldn't be complete if I didn't give a complete walkthrough of the actual UCAS form. When I was applying to UCAS myself as an international student, I did enough research to know what the preparation and the personal statement might look like, but I had no idea what I actually have to fill in the form. So in today's video, I'll be showing you a demo of the actual form, from registering a new account to completing the form. So let's begin.
Okay, so now a change of pace. This is what you'll mainly be seeing throughout this whole video. So I'll be using the actual UCAS platform to show you the demo. And for those of you who don't know, UCAS is spelled UCAS. And so if you just go to UCAS.com, this is what you'll be seeing. And then I'll be starting this demo without an account. So just click sign in. And once you've clicked sign in, you'll see this page. Now I'm assuming everyone doesn't have an account, so just click register, but if you do have an account, then just sign in. And then fill in all these details, so your email, your first name, your last name, password. And then once you're done, just click the little box and register. Alright, and then you'll get a code sent to your email asking you to verify your account. So just wait for that email and plug in that code. And then you'll come to this questionnaire page, and so just click ready. So I'm assuming everyone is starting in the 2024 cycle, so just click 2024 and then select your level of study. So most of you will be undergraduate, so just click undergraduate, and if you would like these additional information, then just tick the boxes. If not, then just leave them blank and then click next. Okay, so next they'll be asking you where do you live, so just type in your location, and if you're from the UK, then you have to enter your postcode as well. And I'm going to just use a random place for this demo. And then your preferences. So would you like tailored information? Now if you click yes here, then they'll be sending you promo emails. So I'm just going to click no for the information and the deals and offers as well. So your mobile number, and just type in the country code and then your mobile number. And then your subjects. Now, so you can select up to 3 subjects, but I think most of you will be only taking 1, which is why they only require actually 1 subject. And I'll be using medicine as an example. And then are you still at school or college? So I'm going to click yes here. So if you click yes, then this will appear and they'll ask you to search for your school. So you can type in the name of your school and then find your school from the list. Or if not, then just click can't find your school or college and then type in your school name manually. So then you have this question about sharing your data with your school, college, or center. So if you have a support team in your school, or you're with a consultant, then you just click yes here, and then they'll ask you to fill in a buzzword later. So if you're from a local UK school, then your school will tell you what's a buzzword, and then you just plug that in later. So what the buzzword is essentially is that it allows your school to upload your predicted grades and your reference letter and get information about your application. And if you are on a gap year, then you would click no here. So then once you're done, you just click create account. And then once you've created your account, this is the page that you'll see. And so you just click start application to begin. And then so click the year that you want to start your studies. So 2024, that's correct. And the level of study undergraduate. And then you click undergraduate again to start your application. Then once you're in, they'll be asking if you're applying from a school, college, or center. Now, if you're a home student, then you would click yes, because then they'll bring you to a page to upload your buzz code. If not, then you would click no. So like I said, if you click yes, then you'll come to this page and you click continue and you will enter your buzz code. And if you're international, then you would click cancel. So in case that you click the wrong button. Alright, so once you're done with that buzz code thing, then you'll come into this application hub, and you'll see all from the taskbar that everything's empty and 0%. And so you just start everything from the top to bottom. So you start by adding your choice. So you just click the giant add choice button here, and then you'll see this page pop up. So you fill in your desired university name or college name. So I'm just going to use Cambridge as an example. So you pick from the list, and then you type in your course. So you can just type in the name of your subject, or you can type in your subject code if you know that. For medicine, it's A100. And for graduate medicine, it's A101. For vet med, it's D100. So the course code might be slightly different with different schools. And then your campus code. Now for Oxbridge, the campus code is essentially the college. So the colleges have their own college codes. You can find that on the school website, or you can just type in the college name. I'm not sure what it's like for other unis. Maybe they have separate campuses. So just figure out what you're supposed to fill in from the faculty website. So then you have to fill in your start date. So if you're applying for deferred entry, then you click another year. But otherwise, most of you will be doing it in 2024 or whatever year corresponding to your cycle. So further details, if you contacted your uni and they asked you to fill in something, then fill it in. Otherwise, just leave it blank. And then moving on to point of entry. So most of you will be applying to first year. Or if you're like just applying for a transfer, then maybe something else. Or you're applying to foundation year. And foundation, but most of you will be applying to first year. So live at home while studying. I guess that depends your arrangement with the uni, but most of you will be no. And then click save. Then depending on your subject, you might have to figure out your criminal convictions. So if you do have any spent or unspent convictions, then you would tick the box. If not, so if you have no criminal convictions and you have nothing on your record, then just leave it blank. All right, just ignore the fake asterisk, making it seem like a required box. It's not. Just leave it blank. And then once you're done, just click save. All right, and then your choice will appear here on the UCAS hub, and then it says that you might have taken an admission test. So BMAT, that's correct for Cambridge Medicine, and there may be an assessment and an interview that's also correct for Cambridge Medicine. So everything is right here. Criminal convictions undeclared, that's correct if you have no convictions. Okay, so you can add up to 5 choices to your application. So whatever subject you're applying to, you can have 5 uni choices. So for medicine, dentistry, and all that, you get 4 choices and 1 safety. So if you have to add more choices, then just click the giant add choice button again and add until you finish everything. Once you're done, you would click the mark complete button. Okay, so once you're done and you click the button, you still have the opportunity to click the add choice button, so it's still available. So don't fret about that. So then we start with the personal details or title. There are a bunch of options. So maybe, I don't know, maybe your dame or a lord or his royal highness or something like that. So then just fill in your first and middle names. So that has to be as it appears on any official document. So maybe your passport, and depending where you're from, you might have a bunch of names. And then you fill in your last name. So make sure everything is correct and just have your passport or whatever ID right next to you. So then they ask for any previous names. So maybe you have a maiden name, or maybe you change your name once. And then your preferred name. So this is what they're going to call you in their emails. So if you're like me and you're from an Asian background and you want to be known as your English first name, then just type in your English first name here instead of whatever weird Chinese middle name you have on your passport. All right, so then just type in your date of birth. And then your gender. Then once you're done with everything, click mark this section as complete. So just mark the section as complete. That's how you submit your information. If you just leave it blank, then everything's not complete and it won't show in the taskbar. So remember to tick the box, or if you want to come back and do it later, then just click save and not mark it complete. Okay, then your contact details, so your mobile number, other phone numbers, and most importantly, your email address and your address type, so your postal address. So if you have a UK address, then you just type it up, and then they have a search system for you to find your address. But if you're not international and you have a non-UK address, then you just click on that and type everything in manually. Okay, then we move on to nominated access. So this is like whether or not you want like parents or teachers to be able to like see your application progress or make arrangements for you. So if you would like that or your school requires it, then you would click yes. Otherwise, most cases you would click no. So then your residency details. Is your home address the same as your postal? If yes, then just click yes. And then just click the area, so your country category, and then your residential category. So there's this bunch of options, and I'm pretty sure you would know which category you belong to. So if you're international, you click other. If you're a UK citizen, then I'm pretty sure you would know if you are. So just select the one corresponding to you. But if your home address is not the same as your postal, then you would just do the whole process over again and fill in your address. And then once you're done, again click complete and save the section. So it's not one or the other, it's both. And then your nationality details. So for some reason it's different from your residency details. So your country of birth. And then if you're international and you didn't click the UK, then they'll ask you for your date of first entry to the UK. So if you never lived in the UK before, then what you can do is just randomly pick a date that's close to the start of your course. So I personally filled in the 1st of September because I didn't actually know when the course was starting, and I didn't know when I was going to arrive, and it worked. So then your nationality, and if you have a dual nationality, then just fill that in. Then do you need a student visa to study in the UK? So unless you're like on some sort of settlement scheme or you have a different alternative visa depending on your country, I believe if you're international you would click yes here. So just make sure that you know your visa choices, and then have you previously studied on a student or tier 4 visa? So if you studied in the UK before with a student visa, I would click no, but depending on your situation you might click yes. And then if you have settled or pre-settled status in the UK, so again depending on your status, and if you need more information you just click on the link. So I will click no here. Do you currently have a passport? I believe most people will have a passport, so it's just for visa purposes. So I will click yes, and then if you click yes, then you have to fill in your passport number and the valid from date, the expiry date, and the place of issue. So all of this information should be based on your passport, and then when you're done, just mark it as complete and save as well. So moving on, we're going to supporting information. So have you ever lived in or worked in the EU excluding the UK? And you have 4 options, so that's pretty self-explanatory. I believe if you have, then you would know. If you haven't, then you just click no, right? And if you have any relatives or a spouse or partner in the EU. And then moving on to your English language skills. So the question is actually asking, is English your first language, and not rather if you need an English proficiency test. So if English is not your first language, you would click no. So if you're international and it's not your first language, you would click no here. And then they'll ask if you have certificate numbers for like TOEFL and IELTS. I think most of you will take IELTS, but if you haven't, then it's fine, just leave it blank. It'll be part of your offer, so your uni will tell you what grade you have to get for like the IELTS, and then you can sit the IELTS later. So just click mark complete and save as usual. And then moving on to finance and funding. So what will be your main source of funding for your studies? So there's this bunch of options. So most of you, I think it's either student finance or private finance. So for home students, you know what student finance is. So it's sort of like a government student loan, I believe. And then there are these other options here. So I think it's mainly targeted at home students. So you would know which you belong to. If you're paying for the tuition yourself, or your family's paying for it, or you're getting like a private scholarship or an international scholarship from your country, then you would click private finance. So then on to the more about you section. The name's pretty vague. Like, what do you mean by more about you, right? So more about you just basically, this section just basically means like whether or not you have like a health condition or long-term illness. So any circumstances that you feel you need support for, and they have like these set options. If any one of these like refer to you, then just choose that one. If not, then just click none. So I'm just gonna click on one random one, and then if you click one, then you'll get this question asking for further details, and you get 450 characters to give like a short description. So if you click none, or you fill that in and then mark it as complete. And then moving on to education, so you can add your place of education. That's the first thing you do. So again, just type in your school name, your college name, or a uni name. So just your past education. And then if like you're international and they don't have your school, then you just type it in and then click add your school. And then if you're a home applicant and you're from a UK school, then your school would have like an exam center number maybe, and so you can just fill this in if it's not already there, and then type in your start date and end date, and then your type of study. So I don't know what's a sandwich. So when I filled in my own form, I found that pretty funny, like what's a sandwich education. So if anyone knows what that is, then just let me know in the comments. But I believe if you're from that type of study, then you would know what a sandwich is and you'll click that. Otherwise, most of you will be full-time students, so just click the full-time option. So then moving on, do you have any qualifications from this center? Now I applied to the A-levels as a private candidate, so from my day school I didn't have like qualifications, and I wasn't planning to sit the local like exam. So for my main school I clicked no, but I clicked yes for my exam center, and then I'll let you know why later on. So most of you, if you're home applicants or like if you're getting qualifications from your school, then you would click yes. And once everything's done, then you click save. So then moving on, you get a ULN, so the unique learner number. So for IL candidates, you have a unique candidate number, but that's apparently something different. So it's only for home students, that's connected to like the UK student's personal learning record. And if you don't know yours, or if you don't have one, then just leave it blank and it's totally fine. So then the highest level of qualification you expect to have before you start your course. So you get below honors degree, or you have no qualifications. So if you're from just graduated high school, then you will click below honors degree level. If you didn't graduate high school, then you click no qualifications. So I think most of you just click below honors degree, or if you have like a bachelor's degree or you're applying to postgrad, then you click honors degree or above. So the reason I said that if you have qualifications from your school, then you would click yes, because if you click no, this button won't appear. So if you click yes, you can select add qualification. Remember to save the section first before you click on the add qualification button, and then leave the page, because it brings you to a whole other page. So there are a bunch of qualification options that they commonly receive from like home applicants, so the GCA levels, the GCSEs, and if you have those, then just click those and just fill those in. If you don't have like those common qualifications, then you just type in your qualification by your name and search for a qualification there. So for me, I typed in Pearson Edexcel International A-level, and there's also the International Advanced level. So they're just the same thing with like the longer and abbreviated name. And then once you click in, so even if it's like the GCE A levels, they'll ask you for your title, so the subject, and then you can just type that in. So maybe biology as an example, and then your qualification date. So when do you expect to receive your qualification? So most of you will be in August. I received mine in January, and then the corresponding year. Then the awarding organization. So if you're from GCE A levels, then you'll get to pick like a bunch of exam boards. For me, it's obviously Pearson. And then your grade. So if you're waiting and you haven't set the exam yet, then it's pending, and you have the opportunity to submit your predicted grades with the reference letter via your referee. So and then you get to fill in this module/unit section, and it's optional. You don't have to do it, but I did do it back then because I set the first unit of math separately, and I had a qualification for maths at that time, so just one grade for that unit. And so I'm going to fill this in. And then if you're like me and you did like one unit, then you want to finish filling in all the other units and just click pending for all of them. So once you're done, you can click save and add another subject. If you didn't finish filling in all the other units, then they'll ask you to fill in a grade for your subject. So just make sure that if you did one unit, then you will want to fill in all the others as well and click pending. So if you click add another, they'll bring you to this page again and you can do everything all over for your next subject. Okay, otherwise you would click save qualification and make sure that you fill in your GCSEs if you have those as well. And then you move on to employment. So if you have any employment details, you can fill in your company name, your role title, the address, the start date, the finish date, and whether you're full-time or part-time. And then you can click save if you have any. If you don't, then just leave it blank and just tick the box for marking as complete and save the section. So moving on to the personal statement. This is arguably the most important part of the application. So you get like 47 lines and 4,000 characters. We've been over that in the personal statement video, so just check that out if you haven't already. And then they recommend you using a word processor, so maybe like Google Docs or Microsoft Word to type it out and then copy and paste here. So that's what most people do. I'm just going to use my own personal statement as an example to show you like the spacing issue and how you separate paragraphs with the platform. So some of you might have already seen my personal statement from the Cambridge Medicine personal statement video, and I'm just going to be using that. So I'm going to type in the intro here. And then I mentioned like you can use the British style for separating paragraphs, so the indentation method that doesn't work. So I'm going to try clicking tab here and they just bring you to like the save draft. Or if you use spaces to indent your paragraph, and then if you click save and preview, it shows like it's not indented. All right, so it tells you like 1 line and 2 lines. So this is the lines just based on their format. This is the lines like based on their format, and so that's where they cut it. And which is why if you click preview, it's on in these chunks, and so it's like very messy. I don't know why they would set it like this. And so you can preview and click edit to just make sure everything's looking nice. Now another way you can separate your paragraphs is like I'm just gonna assume like width is where I set start in my next paragraph. So you can just skip a line if you have enough space. So you can skip a line and then it'll leave that line blank instead. And that way you can like show where your paragraph starts. But like I don't think like a lot of you will have that much space left for your personal statement. So if you don't, then it's fine. Just leave everything like in one big passage. Like that's what I did, and it came out fine, so it's not that big a deal. And remember, there's like a minimum word limit, so at 1,000 characters, which is pretty pointless because I think most of you will get more than 1,000 characters. And then when you're done, just mark it as complete and then save the section. So then you go to referee details. So this is the last section. So if you've contacted your school and they said that you don't need the reference, then you would tick the box saying that I confirmed I contacted my choices and they said I don't need a reference. Otherwise, you would just fill in everything here. And what that does is that so you don't have a bus code, then you fill in everything here. And then what that does is that they'll send the link to your referee instead of getting your reference letter via the bus code. So they send a link to your referee and it brings them to a platform to upload your reference letter and your predicted grades. So the full title and name, the job title or relationship, so maybe it's a teacher, a counselor, and then the organization, so the name of your school or your consultant agency if that's the case. Then the address, so make sure you ask your referee what to fill in here. I filled in the school address. And then the phone, so the school telephone number is what I filled in, and then the email address and confirm it. And then this is kind of weird, like dates unavailable, so it's essentially for you to tell them like when you're definitely unavailable for an interview. I don't know why they put it here, but if you have dates that you know you're definitely not free for an interview, then put it here. So one thing is that you cannot ask someone who's a family member or just someone close to you to be a referee, but that person has to know you like academically to fill in like your reference letter. And then once you're done, you click save reference and request reference. So when you click save reference, that's where you do like save this part and you come back and do it later. But if you're really done, unlike clicking complete, you would click request reference and they would send the link to your referee's email. So when you're done with everything, bring you back to this page, and then you see everything on the taskbar. It's like green and you're done 100%. Then you click review and submit, and then you have to pay your £24 application fee, and that's it.
And that's the end of today's slightly boring but necessary video, since the UCAS series wouldn't actually be complete without the actual UCAS form. But keep an eye out for my future videos, as I promised you, they'll get more interesting. I hope that you found today's video useful. If you have any thoughts, ideas, or questions, then pop in the comments down below. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!